Welcome back, everyone. Glad to have you here today on our Friday review episode. This is episode number 2282. If you'd like to follow along, if you want to get all of the research, all of the links, the three big takeaways for the show, as well as what this brand new device is, I'd love to share that with you right on over at that podcast page, episode 2282, stephencabral.com/2282. Let's dive into today's show. If you are one of our new listeners, thank you so much for supporting the Cabral concept. We appreciate all the downloads, all the reviews and listens, as well as the shares. But what I wanted to share with you is this. Every single Friday review, we're always going through the latest research that I think is actually usable, that we can take something from, and that if it's not meant directly for you, certainly someone in your life could benefit from it. But also, I love going through product reviews, book reviews, things that I'm using in our practice right now, what might be coming down the line. And this year, we've been doing our herb of the week. Today, we've got a great herb of the week specifically used for headaches, migraines, and sometimes for arthritis. So I'll be sharing that one with you. But before we do, we always get started with the latest and greatest updates from our virtual-based practice, which is the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, as well as Equilife. And what I can share with you is this. Right now, we are working on what I think is going to be a game-changing app. We've been working on it since about last June. So yes, I guess that's actually, I thought it was only 8 months. It's getting close to a full year. But what it's going to do is it essentially going to replace most of the apps you are currently paying for right now. That means if you're listening to a meditation app, if you're listening to a white noise app or using it, or you're checking out binaural beats, or you're using a meal planning app or a macros app or a fitness-based app, an online workout app, basically everything to do with health, with wellness, with anti-aging. You'll get all of the protocols we use at Equilife just for your disposal. You can see exactly what we do for sleep, for gut health, for hormonal health, for you name it, we're going to have it there. And it's going to be a living, breathing app. That means every single month, there'll be new elements added to it. So you'll get more binaural beats, and it's all based on our user feedback. So this is part of our Ayubowan-based membership. This is a free service that we were trying to get to people. Now, on the other side of it is the practitioner side. So it will start with all of our integrative health practitioner level 2s, and then all of our level 1s as well. That won't be until the fall, but we're building out that back-end practitioner part 2 so that our thousands and thousands of IHPs can also use that with their clients. To me, it's going to be one of the best things that we have done. I really believe that. And I don't say that, I say that with a lot of pride in my team. It literally took everything from everyone to create an app that is going to, in my opinion, change the industry for the better. So it's going to open source what we know helps people, and that's the de-stress protocol. So we're open sourcing diet, plans, shopping lists, recipes in terms of exercise, your online workouts, walking, cardio, HIIT training, body weight training. It's all there. And then we have binaural beats, we have meditation, we'll be teaching things like dry brushing inside of it, we'll be going in the future into sauna, into cold plunge, we even have restaurant recommendations in your local area. I just think it's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm so excited about it. And it even allows people to create their own day. So you can actually use pieces of it to make your own app within the app. Again, couldn't be more excited. It's going to be debuting in just a bit, if not by the time this podcast has come out. So to be able to find out when the app actually launches, go to stephencabral.com/app. That's going to share with you our Ayubowan page. This gets you free access to it as an Ayubowan member, and only Ayubowan members get access to it. So you also get a complimentary at-home lab test every 90 days for you or a family member. I mean, again, what we are trying to do is change the industry at a light speed rate. We know that these things are coming. We just want to make it happen faster for you. So that is exactly what we're doing. You can check it out at stephencabral.com/app, and that's APP. I would love to hear your feedback. Again, this app is going to continue to grow and breathe, and you will see that happen over the next 12 months. We're going to be having expert master classes. I don't even want to get into all of it, but yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible. It really is. I'm so excited about it. Can't wait to teach inside of it, and I can't wait to essentially open source all of True Health, natural health. All right. Podcast recap for the week. Hopefully you've been checking out the shows this week. Episode 2278 was why you may not be accomplishing your big goals. Episode 2279, how to get well when nothing else works. Love that show. I really do. I mean, because I was there one day, so I totally get it, totally understand why you can't get well, can't lose the weight, feel like you're aging so quickly. That show's dedicated for you. 2280 was how chronic stress makes you fat. We actually went through how adipose tissue fat expands due to chronic stress. And of course, once you know that, then you can reverse engineer it. 2281, yesterday's show was, does exercise make you exhausted? Do this instead. So I gave hopefully a very succinct and easy plan to follow. One I've actually been using myself, not because I'm exhausted, but how to actually add more volume to my current program without any of the excess fatigue. So I really like that. I love, again, keeping an open mind and experimenting, and it's been a lot of fun. All right, let's go over our herb of the week now. That is Feverfew. Feverfew is, well, just how it's spelt. Feverfew. I would love to go over the highlights with you. Its nickname is medieval aspirin. And it is used essentially and mainly, and you'll see, not only is there's good clinical scientific evidence, there's 4 really good studies of people that got clinical significant benefits from using this, and I'll give you the dosage in just a moment, for moderate to severe headaches. So if you get any throbbing or pulsating or pounding pain, this may be an herb that you could benefit from. There are components inside of Feverfew, just like there is in any particular herb, that give it its benefits. And so what we do in natural health, instead of having to use a lot of Feverfew, we can actually use some of those extracts from Feverfew. And that is the parthenolide and the tanatin, or tanatin, it's actually pronounced. So these are herbs and extracts of that actually help with prostaglandin inflammation. So I've shared this before, but when you take in a lot of arachidonic acid or even oxidized polyunsaturated fats that lead to this arachidonic acid, you can increase what are called prostaglandin series 2. They're not the only one. There's others as well, leukotrienes, et cetera. And these can lead in some people, susceptible people, to migraines and joint pain and other issues. So in someone like myself, they lead to actually allergies and mastocytosis. So, we each have our own genetic variants, but again, there's always underlying root causes. And so I know a lot of people that have suffered previously with a lot of these issues, and this can be something that you add to your plan. Now, remember, migraines, you don't want to just say, hey, I'm only going to use Feverfew. You want to figure out what's causing my migraines. It can be hormonal based, imbalances in estrogen, progesterone. It can be elevated levels of cortisol with lower levels of thyroid. It can be inflammation from any number of things, from food sensitivities, gut-based issues, high histamine. So your job is to figure out what's going on with this inflammation that is leading to migraines. And of course, in the meantime, nothing wrong with using what nature provided us. So the dosages that have actually been clinically proven to work, say taking 100 to 300 milligrams of Feverfew containing 0.2 to 0.4 parthenolides between 1 to 4 times daily may help migraines. And I'll link up that clinical study for you as well. So what you're looking at is somewhere around 600 to 1,200 milligrams a day of a Feverfew product that has a minimum of 0.2 to 0.4 parthenolides, which is the active compound. I cannot link you up a Feverfew product because the powers that be over at the FDA and everywhere else say that I can't, because we're talking about diseases And even though this is clinically proven, it's still not legal to do. So I can't do that, but you now know the name and you know the dosage. You'll be able to find it. All right. Let's go over now our product review of the week. This is a fun one. I actually got sent this product. Inexpensive product. I'm going to link it up here for you. And it's the Relaxator. Why do I like this though? Because I'm a big advocate, and we'll have this inside of the app as well, of breath work. If you are someone that suffers from anxiety or high stress or low mood or low energy, learning how, I know that this seems strange, learning how to breathe again can help to dramatically reduce those symptoms. And I want to share with you why. When we're not breathing properly, we are much more prone to being in the fight or flight, which is the sympathetic nervous system. If you can begin to calm your vagus nerve or vagal nerve, okay, and you can begin to reset your nervous system, you can actually calm your body, produce more inhibitory, so calming neurotransmitters, and reduce excitatory, stimulating neurotransmitters. So what this device does, and it looks like such a simple device, and it is, this is actually the simplest one I've used. I've reviewed previous ones to this, but what this one does is you can set it from 1 to 5, called the Relaxator. And there's a little hole in it. So if you're watching this on video, again, if you're not, you can go to stephencabral.com/2282. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, we appreciate you. We would love your follows, subscribes, and all of that. That only helps us reach more people. But you can see inside of there, there's a little space, okay? Now, what I can do is I can try to almost close off the entire space by putting it on number 5. And if you're not watching this on video, it's still okay. But what then I can do is I can put it up to my mouth and I can actually begin to strengthen my lung capacity and the rhythm of my breathing. So I'm going to place this in my mouth right now and you'll hear me breathe for a second. So what I'm doing right now is breathing in through my nasal cavity, through my nostrils, and I'm breathing out through the relaxator. And the sound that you hear is it being forced through this small space in this device. And what that does is it forces me to take a little bit longer exhale. Why does that matter? Well, as I've shared with you before, the way to get into the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and relax, is to have a longer exhale than you do inhale. But a bigger part of this is actually understanding rhythmic breathing. So the goal is to breathe about 6 times to maybe 10 times or so per minute. So I didn't, give myself a quiz or a test, but basically I put this in my mouth and I set it at number 3. So the 3 on this allows you a normal breath rate, or should allow you for a normal breath rate, but it's training you to get a full exhale out from your lungs. And just put a timer on your desk, but don't change your breathing at all, and see if you fall within that 6 to 10. If you're above it, you're more towards hyperventilation. You most likely have a restricted thoracic cavity or tightened diaphragm, not allowing you to actually relax. So again, I would say it's a fun device. That's it. I can keep it on my desk. You can put it in your car, however you want to do it, as long as it doesn't distract you, of course, when driving. And you can do this for 10 to 15 minutes a day, once or twice a day. And you can even do it with biofeedback. I love combining things. So for me, I could do this on a walk, or I could do this while I'm doing some biofeedback. And so it's going to help strengthen my lungs, get me into being more cognizant of my breathing, and really calming my sympathetic nervous system down into that parasympathetic. So if you're interested in this little device, I will link it up for you at stephencabral.com/2282. All right. Research studies of the week. This is an interesting one because I believe it just may be something we are able to accomplish over the next 10 to 20 years. And this is actually, it's the title of this is called The Global Race for a T-Cell Receptor that zeroes in on and annihilates solid tumors. By that, they mean cancerous tumors for the most part. So what they're doing is they're actually, and this is specifically gene therapy, but what they're looking to do is be able to actually either amp up our own T cells or some type of, I don't know if I'd call it, I guess, a biological, in order to be able to seek out tumors specifically and not healthy cells and actually break down and destroy cancer cells. It's really, really interesting research. So it's actually being done out of Beijing right now at a specific biotech-based company. And obviously, cancer is going to affect 1 out of 2 men and 1 out of 3 women in our lifetime. And if we can help people in all ways possible, I think it's a great thing. Of course, we always want to be living as healthy a lifestyle as possible. There's no doubt about it. But, I think everybody or anybody who gets cancer deserves the best possible treatments from both natural and conventional, or I would even say conventional, because this is like futuristic based help. And I really believe that the future of cancer therapy, the future of all therapy, is precision based. So I do believe that much of this is going to be based on your own genes and genetics. And I believe there's going to be more targeted approaches. And that goes for, in my opinion, it'll go for cholesterol in terms of heart disease, blood pressure, and cancer as well. I truly believe that. So really interesting stuff. I think that we are 10 to 20 years away. And so that's always my thing, is that you keep yourself healthy now. Do everything that you can now, because if you can keep yourself healthy for the next 10, 20 years, there's going to be so many medical breakthroughs that we're not just giving a pill for every ill, but when actually your life is on the line, there'll be some real acute-based therapies that could save millions and millions of people. And that's how I believe that the future of technology and medicine and biotech can be combined with our ancient natural healing. I think there's a time and place for both. And again, when it's life on the line, I think that we can use these things again, as long as they're proven to be safe. All right, my last research study for you for the week, and I love this, is on, let's call it mindfulness for children. And why this is important. Here's the thing. Listen, I'm not making any political or medical or any of these statements, but there was an article recently published in the New York Times just about 2 weeks ago. You could look it up for yourself if you'd like. And it just showed the toll loneliness took on people over the past couple of years. Depression, suicides, mental health imbalances were at an all-time high. I mean, it's affecting children as well. The problem is we won't even know for years how to quantify how much it affected children. And I just think that it's tough for kids because, the reasoning, rational mind, the logical based mind isn't even really totally, not evolved, but totally cemented until about your early 20s to 25 years old. So it's just such a challenging time. Again, I don't know always what the right answer is for doing this or doing that. But what I can say is that I don't know that we should make things so one-sided in the future. Maybe we can learn from this. Maybe there's a happy medium. Maybe some people are allowed to choose, what they're able to do. I don't know. Again, that's not necessarily my foray and forte of what I should be recommending. But what I can tell you is this. When I see kids with all sorts of anxiety and mental health imbalances before the age of 10 years old and worried about getting their grandmother sick or their friend sick or whatever it is, what does that do, for the rest of their life? I don't know. Again, I don't have those answers. But what I do know is that there's things that we can do. We can at least talk with our children. We can allow them a safe space to ask questions. And we can also do things like mindfulness-based programs. This new research was done out of the University of Derby and Derbyshire Educational Psychology Service. And it was done with more than 1,000 children from 9 years to 12 years old across 25 different schools. And what they did was they only did one, but it proved very, very helpful, just one 45-minute mindfulness session per week for 9 weeks during the year-long project. And so what they found was that children's resiliency to stress and hard times and trauma improved. And it improved actually across all areas that they were looking for. So they saw increased optimism, improved esteem and self-efficacy, ability to cope in certain situations, and how they face not health, but emotional issues in the future. And all of those improved. And then that was great to see with only one session a week. So what do? Well, what they did was they created greater awareness of their emotions. So they helped them first get in tune with what we just spoke about with this Relaxator-based device. They actually help them get in tune with their breathing. And I've mentioned this before, but most of us, when we get stressed, we stop breathing. Now, obviously not completely, but we basically hold our breath. What that does is it causes more of a fight or flight based reaction, more of a sympathetic nervous system dominant situation. So first they got children to go to their breath. Then they got them to actually pay attention to their bodily sensations. And then they helped them through a series of exercises into greater awareness of those emotions and how to be able to process them. I think it's really remarkable. There's many, many books on this. There's also many programs. If you'd like to institute this at one of your children's schools or maybe just working it with your own children, I think it'd be fantastic. You can look up children mindfulness programs, and I will also link up today's research as well. Hopefully today's show was helpful. As always, if it was, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. And stay tuned this weekend for us answering more of our Cabral host calls. Take care, everyone.